Hi everyone, welcome back. Fresh off a win, but the work never ends. We got to get back in the shop. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of the messages and comments and all the well wishes after the win. I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't, and it means a lot to me. It genuinely does. Yeah, I'm in my car. But that's because, well, yeah, I know I said we're going to go in the shop, but I have to go deliver something to a sponsor that I'd promised him. And so I'm going to head down there right now and get that done. But then after that, then we can get back to work, because even though we won, we were not good enough to win from the back. We were good enough to win from the front, but we got a lot of work to make it so that we win from anywhere. So we'll get this done. We'll head down to Northeast Trucking Off-Road, deliver them a trophy that they so deserve, and then we'll get back in the shop. All right, Northeast Truck and Off-Road, Route 12, Gales Ferry, Connecticut. I gotta find a place to park. That was cool. I stopped in and visited the main sponsor here at Northeast Trucking Off-Road. Come and see these guys if you're in the Connecticut area, if you got truck or off-road or even need a mower. Come see them down on Route 12 in Gales Ferry, Connecticut. netruckingoffroad.com, I believe. If I screwed that up, I will put it down here at the bottom of the screen. And you got the phone number there as well. So give those guys a shout. I wouldn't be racing without them. And it means a ton to me to have somebody in my corner like that. So back to the shop. I'm noticing a bunch of stuff we got to do. I've also got a few alterations to the cockpit and the comfort area. Don't mind me, I'm just plugging in my fan up here. Can't reach. Okay, there she goes. Gonna suck a little bit of the hot air out of here. It's the perfect day. It's like 70 degrees and sunny. It's awesome. But I'm noticing a few things. We're gonna have to nut and bolt the whole car. I want to pull the axles out and inspect those bearings. It's been on the list forever, and I don't know why the heck I haven't done it yet. But I got another issue here. Like, first lap of the race, I just caught the spinning car right there. I mean, so close, right? It was this far away from missing it, and it caught me right in the bumper, and that's what caved this in, because it kicked the bumper back right here. You can see it's kinked right there. Well, you might not be able to, but it's kinked right there, and it brought the thing back, and that's what kind of pooched the fender. It folded it like this. So what we got to do is we got to throw the porta power in here, shove the bumper back out, and that'll straighten this out. I'm not going to hammer it out because the bumper's bent. The bumper is hooked to the fender right here. That's what's causing that issue. And while I got a moment, I might as well talk to you guys about philosophy and theory and psychology or something like that. I don't know where this lands in that, but it'll land somewhere in there. Yeah, we won. Great. That's good. That's a huge load off. I mean, that just completely removed all the pressure of the season. Basically, I'm now going to go out there and be like, well, we didn't get skunked. We won our race. And we did it early. So now we've got a lot of time to just kind of relax. We got the pressure off. Let's just try to work on it. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. I'm not going to go out there, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, is that, yeah, you won a race, but that doesn't mean you're the best. You know what I mean? We were probably 80%. You know, that was we weren't great. We were good enough to be out in the lead when we had the lead, but otherwise, if we had a restart, it could have got interesting. I still think that we could have been able to stay in the lead, well, unless we got punted, but you know, that's always a possibility anywhere, even if you are the fastest. But we can't rest on our laurels, and I'm not going to go out there the next race being like, Captain, I'm the best of everything, and just like have this giant ego and be like, well, I'm just going to go run over everybody in front of me. We're great. We won. You know what I mean? It's not how it works. It's a new week. This is a complete reset. Everything right now resets. We're back to square one. We have to get the car ready. You know what I mean? That's how it's supposed to be in racing. That's how it really is in racing. And the timer starts over. So we've got to get this thing blown apart. We got to get the porta power out. We got to get all these issues fixed. We got to fix those driver things. Oh, I forgot to show you this. I'm going to relocate the gauges. So I bought these for 1.5 inch tubing, which I think is what that little bar right there is, because I'm going to move my mirror. It was a fun spot to be in, you know, up here, right in front of my face, but it's really not practical. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the switches, which I really like them being up there, but we're going to move them down to here. You know, it's right next to there. I can reach it very easily. It's out of the way. I got plenty of wiring that I can move it. It's not a huge deal. We're going to take the mirror and move it over to more of a standard location. And I'll be honest with you, that mirror, where it is and how it works, it really makes me feel like cars are a lot closer to me than they actually are. Like, I watched the footage of the broadcast and I could have swore those guys were all over me when they were like 6, 7, 10 car lengths behind. So that's got to get fixed as well. First things first, we're going to work on functionality. I'm pulling the porta power out. We're going to get that thing pushed back out in the front. I might do both sides because by the looks of it, I think I got some damage on the right front from earlier in the year that I need to address. So we're going to start shoving the thing out and get it back into place. Unfortunate. There's a rag, there's drips, there's the check, and there's this not quite pushed out because I hammered it out by hand. If you push it straight, it should pull this right back straight, but yeah, the piston in my hydraulic ram just let go. So I'm either going to buy a new one, or I'll just like be really cheap about it and pull the seal out and replace it and see if that does anything. It's just a cheap Chinese. I don't even know where I got it, if it was like a job lot type of thing or a surplus type of thing, or maybe it was a Harbor Freight, which is the same thing. Who knows? I don't know. It's kind of junk now, but I got good use out of it until it, well, I didn't. So I'll have to figure something out for that real quick. I might just, because the it doesn't look bad in here. Maybe I'll just drill a new hole. I'll pull the bolt out, straighten the fender, just drill a new hole and put some wrap material over it and just call it just fine for this week. You know, it can be off a little bit and still kink the fender like that. So I think we'll just cut our losses on this one. A drill bit and a little hammer work is a lot cheaper than a hydraulic ram to push it back 1/2 inch. It'll be fine. Plus, I don't want to weaken the bumper and have to build a new one right now. So, all right, on to the next thing, I guess. There's metal shavings, dirt, rubber chunks, all sorts of stuff that'll blow in my face if I forget to close my visor. So we'll do that, and I got a vacuum seat, but I always do that. Put the switch panel there. I was gonna put it there, but then I realized, hey, if I reach for the second gear, third gear shifter, I hit the ignition switch. And shutting the car off, bad idea. So now I moved it forward. I can still reach it, but now I'm only really in danger of turning off either the fan or the lights if I really get aggressive reaching for it, which I typically don't. I just kind of put my hand on it. New mirror, just feels like how it used to be in my old car. So that's in a better place. I can see a little bit more clear behind me. That's a lot more useful. So the interior stuff is done except for vacuuming. Now we can at least move on to something else. Speaking from experience, you know, another really good thing to do is just kind of look your car over when you're done with a race. You could see, like, if you look at your fuel cell or your rear axle or even the back inside of your bumper cover or even on the outside of your bumper cover, little droplets or oil impressions or even water or anything like that, you can see telltales of things that could be a problem in your car. You might have a leaky seal or a leaky gasket somewhere in the drivetrain or in the engine, and it could be misting or fogging oil or water down the side of your car, and that's a good way to tell what, you know, problems you may encounter. But right now, the only problem I got, thankfully, is it's dirty. Rubber chunks, little pebbles, things like that. So we'll take a blower to it as well as the vacuum, clean this thing up. We got to get the tires shaved and wrapped just to keep them protected, and just go through the normal checklist. Like I said, now that we got the win out of the way, now the hard work begins, because now we can't start any further forward than 5th, I think, all year. So we're not starting near the front. We're not going to be in the good handicap for a little while. And now we actually have to really get the setup right to pass cars. So yeah, we got the win, but now the hard work begins. I noticed that this side here, what really stinks is it's right under the door saver bar. Got caved in the heat race. So it's like this. And that is not easy to fix. Oh wow, I got 2 rivets missing too. Gosh, that thing got screwed up. Wow. Anyway, I'm gonna have to replace those rivets, but then I got the fix for that. Oh God, there's so much dust on it. There's a cheapo slide hammer with suction cups. That's pneumatic. I hook it up to my air hose, put a big end on it or whatever end I want. I'm gonna spray the car down because it's got a wrap so it's smooth with some soapy water. Hopefully that helps with suction. And after I replace the rivets, just use the slide hammer, yank the body out with the suction cup. Obviously, you can't get a hammer in on the left side because there's door bars in the way. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So this is the next best option. Hopefully that'll get the dents out, and then we'll take some WD-40, clean the wrap up, and we'll see what other damage we can fix. It's as straight as I can get it, because apparently the bar's bent in the middle. I didn't realize that. That's alright, it'll live. Doesn't look terrible either. Wrap's kind of hanging in there, except for that very low part and a little over here. It's not too bad. It's a lot better than the right side, that's for sure. Might as well go drill out that front fender because I forgot to do that. And we'll drill that out, get that mount off so that it's free, then pound it back into shape and shape the fender back straight, and then just drill a new hole or hog the hole out or whatever, and then see if I have any wrap material to cover it up. I don't think I do for that spot per se, but you know, it is what it is. And boy, that really screwed that fender right up, man. Wow, that was already messed up to begin with, but since it's already wrapped, I'm just gonna keep running it. All right, I took a good long look around the car here. Seems to be all right. There's a few more things we still have to inspect. I'm certain I have to get into the rear end and start looking at stuff just to start. maintaining things. You know, I just want to make sure everything's working okay. Body work is pretty well done. Interior stuff is done. Brakes seem okay. We bled the brakes last race. I got to make sure I mark my list here. I forgot to do that. I got to mark down how many races I've got on grease and oil changes and wheel bearings and stuff like that so that I can keep it for maintenance sake. I do have a water leak out of the water pump that I'm a little bit concerned about. It looks like it's out of a fitting, but in order to get to that fitting, got to take the alternator off, and the alternator bolts go through the water pump, and the water pump bolts are not blind, so that means all the water is going to come out. So that's going to be really annoying, and I'm just going to keep inspecting that because I don't know if it's actually that fitting or not, but we can't have leaks. Leaks are bad. So I'll do that, but I think I'm just going to go through the list, make sure I got everything written down so that I can inspect it later, and I'm going to take off for the day because I got other stuff going on, and I've got to keep a schedule, but I've got a couple days off coming up because of holiday stuff this week and work scheduling, and I'll be out here at least tomorrow, and then I've got a few days off. Back in the shop the next day. A little chilly today. I like it. Found a water issue in the front end of the motor. Don't know what it is yet. Got my flashlight out. We're going to have to figure it out, but I don't like it. Might have to drain a little bit of water out of this thing, which stinks because we use that distilled water, but I mean, it does help it not rust and not wear out stuff, which I like. And, well, I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at it from the outside. I can't tell. We're going to have to dig into this one. Well, apparently I'm a 5-year-old and I haven't put my Legos away because there's tools and stuff all over the damn floor that I haven't cleaned up yet. And I had plenty of time to do that. So now I have to add that to the list as well. So I got to figure out where the heck is this water coming from? Huh. I think I see it already. See this gasket right here on the back of the pump housing? I see fresh water on it. That's not great. We'll have to check that out. So I think, unfortunately, the water pump will have to come off. So that means a trip to Dollar General to get some distilled water, which is fine. I can walk there, but I guess we're taking a water pump off, which is going to delay us on our setup work, which also needs to be done. But fear not, like I said, I still got 2 days off after today, and we should be okay. So we'll get to this. I might have to put some gasket goop material or something on it, or even tighten the bolts. Maybe they're not even tight. We'll figure it out when we get it off. I have other ones, but I'd really prefer not to use them because this one, I don't know, seems to work great. It's brand new. And that's the problem. Parts nowadays are garbage. Like actual garbage. They're terrible parts. Like back in the day, you used to be able to get parts and good parts from an auto parts store just anywhere down the road. Now you get parts from anywhere and it's crap. Like they're just crap. They're awful parts. So, all right, well, doesn't matter what name you put on them either. So I guess we're going to go digging into this thing again. Oh, God. That was weird. I pulled the bolt out of the water pump, the lower one, because I'm like, just let it drain out. As you can see, it didn't drain out. It shot out. Like there was still a ton of pressure in the cooling system, which I don't understand why that is. And I don't know why it holds pressure. I'm sure that's a good thing. It's not going into the engine like we got a bad head gasket. Clearly it's holding water. I just don't know why it continually holds pressure, which is very strange to me. So it just fired water out. And by the way, this water stinks. Like it smells awful. It smells like sewage. It's not discolored. It's very clear. I don't even see rust in it. But it's still, it reeks, man. I don't know. So I'm just going to keep working. That was funny. I figured I'd share that with you. And now I can at least start because the water's drained out. To the convenience store and to the auto parts store, netted us one gasket and the water necessary to put this thing back together. Cleaned up the back plate on this brand new water pump. It's got a little discoloration to it, but it's not too bad. It almost looks a little pitted already, which I was kind of hoping wouldn't be a thing, but especially with distilled water. But like, man, I just can't get away from it apparently. Like I said before, parts nowadays are garbage, so I guess we'll just live with it. But the gasket that was on this thing from the manufacturer was like this very thick, like fibrous gasket. Not like this one at all. This is more of a thick paper, like a hard gasket stock type of deal, which is normal. This was like a thick, very pulpy, I don't know what it was, but like I have a heavy cap because, you know, race car. And they tend to build a lot of pressure. And, you know, you run a heavier cap, they tend not to overheat as much. Same basic theory. But apparently it had soaked, the pressure was enough that it had soaked through the entire gasket. And it was just dripping out of the gasket because it was so thick. And it had become so drenched, I guess. I don't know. But it was just leaking. So we're just going to RTV the back and front sides of it, slap this gasket in the middle, tighten the bolts down to right before they strip, and slap it back together. And hopefully that'll fix at least that problem. So I got that issue put back together. Hopefully there's no real big issue with why it's pressurizing the water system. But, you know, if it runs fine and it doesn't run hot, I don't really know what to do. I'll call the guy about it later. But I started shaving tires. Missing that wreck last race, I ran up into the marbles and completely coated the tires in garbage, and the bucket's getting awfully full over here. So now at least I can measure them properly. Still got all the rest of them to do, but at least I got one done. I got 2 days off this week coming up, back to back, which is pretty sweet. So I got to go grab some parts from... I don't know, actually, no, I need hardware. I'm low on hardware, and we're running out of that. But I got to go to Tractor Supply to get that tomorrow. And a couple other things that we need to do, but we have a list of projects over here. I got to go knock some of them off because we actually got them done. But that's going to have to wait for tomorrow. It's a nice league night. I haven't eaten. Clearly, I don't need to. But I'm going to go do that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's the next day. I'm going to continue on the work I was doing yesterday. I was trying to... That's proving to be an issue because I don't have a lot of parts. And I went looking for some at Tractor Supply and other hardware stores and stuff, and just kind of struck out. I'm like, ugh, all right. So I guess we got to come up with a new plan. And I'm not quite sure what that is yet. So I'm going to spend a few minutes cleaning and thinking about what I'm going to be doing, and then we're going to get back to work. And hopefully what I'm going to do is going to be a little bit better than what we've got now, because we need a little more adjustment out of this thing. And you can't rest on your laurels after you win. It doesn't get easier. It actually gets harder. Now the hard work starts. And we're kind of in it now. All right, I took a quick lunch break. And in the time I spent waiting for my kids' lunch and my lunch to cook, I got whatever I needed done. I forgot to even set the camera up. I was using it as a timer, and then absentmindedly forgot to just set the camera up. Didn't really matter. You just see me going like this really fast, sitting in a wheel well. Not a big deal, though, but like I said, we got that adjustment done. I'm going to go look at the list again You know what I think we'll do? I think we're going to get to something that I've been waiting to do, not even waiting to do, but wanting to do for quite a while. I'm going to go rip the rear end apart. Like, I need to make sure that the axle bearings, they are technically a pre-greased and sealed axle bearing because I'm running, you know, a 9-inch rear, which is admittedly, it is heavier, but I do like the added idea of structural integrity, longevity, just general toughness of my parts. So it might not be any sort of an advantage, but at least it's tough. I need tough parts. If you've seen my car, I definitely need tough parts. So I'm going to pull the brake hubs off, and I'm going to go look in there and see if I can even take my like grease gun, because I got a little injector tip, like a little needle looking tip, and I can just like inject some grease into the axle bearings, because these rear ends actually run like an inner axle seal to keep the oil inside the pumpkin of the transmission. They don't go down the axle tubes like a factory 7.5-inch rear does. And then those rear ends rely on the gear oil to kind of lubricate their axle bearings. These don't. They put axle seals in it because you need as much fluid in the pumpkin as possible. They use sealed bearings on the end. Therefore, under stressful loads, like, you know, a race car, I want to make sure it's lubricated. So I'm going to rip that apart, see if I can do something about it. If I can't, then I'll just put it back together, I guess. But that's been on the agenda for a while. Maybe I'll throw a camera in the transmission in the rear end, make sure that the oil is, and the gears at least, are in okay shape, and I don't see any chipping or anything on ring and pinion or anything like that, and I don't see any other problems. So we'll just start doing what we should have been doing for a long time. Since I got a couple days off, might as well do it. I used up about 4 rags on that one because apparently the inner axle seal allows just a little bit of gear oil through, and it's just enough to continually lubricate that axle bearing. So I looked at it and it was perfect. So I said, well, you're gonna stay the way you are. I think it's fine. Only issue was when I went to put the axle back in, it pushed the inner axle seal right into the pumpkin, and I was cursing a lot until I remembered I had my hook of many things. I use this for pretty much anything I can't reach. It's really great for one of these cars for pulling lead through the rail, but I also used it to pull an inner axle seal out of the pumpkin and just kind of finagle it and pulled it right back up the axle tube without having to take the pumpkin out, because that would have been a hell of a job to have to do right now. I'd have to drop the drive shaft, I'd have to pull the center section out, I'd have to drain all the oil, I'd have to pull it out. That would have really stunk, but I got it back in. It seems to be fine. Just leaving it. It's perfect. It's got plenty of oil. I think we're gonna put the car on the ground and just kind of check ride heights, just to take a look at the notebook, see if we've got it right, and I'll just be... The time lapse, if I did that, would be so long, you guys would just be like, okay, I see a guy spazzing out, running around the shop. So I'll just get that done. I'll do some experimenting, and I'll come back to you whenever I finish up with that. Froggy, and I said, you know what, in order to make sure them changes are exactly what I'm looking for, well, let's throw it on scales. And I threw it on scales, And the numbers it told me was exactly what I wanted, because I was having some issues with the rear end and the heights were kind of weird. And exactly what that scale box just told me fixed that. So that's perfect. I'm very happy with that. We made the right changes. We're still dialing it in little pieces at a time, but we're getting closer, hopefully, fingers crossed. I think there's a lot left in the car, personally. I mean, I've definitely driven cars that handled a lot more sorted out, but remember, brand new car. Got to figure out what it wants. That old car out there that I'm still trying to sell, sorted out, for the most part. So now I think we're going to take and put it back up in the air and continue maintenance, and then tomorrow night, when we're going to load, we can drop it back down, double check scales one more time, and straighten the box. There's still a couple things to do. Like, I still got to get the tires off and finish shaving them. I did one of them, and then I ran out of time yesterday. Get that crap off, measure tires, because these are the ones I'm going to race on anyway. They don't look too old. They don't, by my measuring system and my note-taking, they definitely don't have a lot of time on them, so I think we're going to run them one more time. That's why I scaled with them, so we're going to do that. I got to get the radiator fan fixed because I used those stupid, whatever they are, plastic strips that they come with to try to pull them through the radiator, and they're junk, and I should have just used zip ties to begin with, so now I got to cut those off and reach my arm in a tight spot, disconnect the radiator from the mount to fix something I knew was going to screw up in the first place. So can't have the radiator fan flopping around, and a couple other things like just some maintenance items, cleaning it, making sure everything's greased, normal stuff. But I want to get as far ahead as possible. Tomorrow I want it to be as easy a day as possible. I want to just roll tools and the car into the trailer and not have to be rushing until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, because work on Friday, since it's a holiday on Thursday, is going to be a little rough, because it's going to take me a little longer to get out of work. So I want to try to get as far ahead as possible so I can get to the track on time. So that might be an issue, but at least by the time we go, we'll be ready, and fingers crossed we can get this thing done in time. Tires are all prepped up. The bucket is getting so full. What are we, 5 races in? We're about 2/3 full on the bucket. I haven't come up with a name with yet. It's just the rubber bucket. Those are good. I wiped most of the body down so it looks better. We didn't really make any body contact all week. Oh, I did on the left side. I don't know if I wiped that down yet, but that doesn't matter. It looked all right, so whatever. We do have a couple things left for tomorrow, though. I keep forgetting that left front fender bolt. I got to re-drill the fender so that it fits. I got to do the radiator fan. I got to do caster camber toe. Just a couple minor things. Load the trailer, and we should be good to go for Friday. Weather looks fine. It's going to be hot, though. I think my hair looks bad now. Wait until Friday. It's going to look even worse because it's going to be hot outside. Probably going to have to wash my suit again, but got a lot done today. Everything seems to be all right, so we're going to bring it back tomorrow. Next day, got a couple of items up here to check off the list. Namely, I got to finish the fender bolt on the left front so the fender's not flapping in the breeze. I got to fix that radiator fan and put zip ties in it because those ties are garbage, and that's going to stink. That'll be no fun to do. Caster camber toe, minor stuff. I am a little bit concerned about the water pressure issue as well. So I purchased a couple things to maybe tell us if there's something bad with it or not, but I'm still not convinced it's really a serious issue. I bought a combustion leak detector from Harbor Freight. I bought the test fluid as well, so that we can put that in the water neck up here, run the car, have that solution in here, and if it changes color, you can pretty much tell that combustion gases are getting into the cooling system. And it'll tell you if you got a cracked block or a bad head gasket or something. I don't really think it's a problem. I think it's just a weird anomaly going on because, you know, there's no oil in the water. There's no water in the oil. And when I was racing last time I was in the lead, it was like 170 degrees. The only problem I have is that it's continually retaining pressure, which I guess if it's retaining pressure in the cooling system, should be a good thing, right? Because if it wasn't, it would be pushing all the pressure into the crankcase or externally or something, but who knows? I'm just going to keep running it until something catastrophic happens or we figure out that it's actually okay. So I don't know yet, but maybe this will help us out with that. But we got to get to work. It's 85 degrees today. It's going to be 85 again tomorrow. It's going to be hot. I'd like to get this thing done and in the box as fast as humanly possible because I don't feel like sweating all day. At least the car's already scaled, so I just basically drop it down and check caster camber toe. It should be pretty ballpark. I mean, there probably will be a little bit of an adjustment, or if it's at least close enough in the range of where I feel it's okay, we might just leave it. You know, close enough. Any ride height change will change caster, not caster, but camber. Caster should stay about the same, but camber will change any ride height change, and hopefully I don't have to make any real adjustments, but I will have to pull the caps off, though. Let's get to work. Well, I am now baffled. I've never seen this before in my life. You can see there's water just everywhere. Because I looked down at my freshly gasketed water pump here, and it was leaking. Because I could see a telltale little, well, now it's a big puddle on the floor. It was a little one, now it's big. And it wasn't there before. And apparently it's leaking out of the gasket that I just replaced. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I opened the cap. See how it had pressure in there? It just hurt it. It sprayed water everywhere. And you might think, oh, well, you know, when you run a car, it does that. Well, I haven't run the car since last Friday. That was 6 days ago. Changed the water pump gasket, put the water pump back on, filled it back up with water, never ran the car. Had so much pressure in it, it blew out again. So what's happening is, I don't know if it's ambient pressure in the atmosphere or whatever, but like, for whatever reason, it's building so much pressure in the cooling system, just sitting around, that it's forcing water out of the water pump gasket. And I don't know how to stop that. I really don't. We might be in some serious trouble here. I've made my decision already about this, and that decision is we're leaving it because it's doing exactly the same thing as what the old gasket did. For whatever reason, and I don't know because I'm not a scientist and I've never seen this type of thing with cars ever in my life, building that much pressure inside of the cooling system without actually running, I'm just going to leave it. The first 5 races of the year, the car did the exact same thing. I would see a little dribble of water underneath it because it was, I don't know, holding a whole ton of pressure and just leaking out of the back gasket on the water pump. The engine never overheated. It wasn't spraying water everywhere. It was just a very weird drip every once in a while. But like, what am I supposed to do about it? You know, I don't really know what to do here. Like I said, I put a new gasket in it. I gooped it. I tightened it. And once it built pressure overnight or during the day today, I don't know when, but just everywhere. So I've decided to leave it. I have a spare water pump over there. I don't think that's going to make much difference because if it's building pressure just sitting here, it's just going to be another gasket that leaks probably. So I put a softer cap on because I had a pretty heavy cap on it. I figured I'd take the pressure size down a little bit. If that's a problem or if it overheats, I got the old cap. We'll just put it on. I'll bring a bottle of water with me and If it needs to be topped off, we'll top it off. Otherwise, I really can't fix what I don't know how to fix, so we'll just leave it and... Well, still just getting hotter in here as we speak. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon. I don't want to be out here all night. This car is done except caster camber toe. Toe should be okay because I checked it after the heat race. And that was when I had a little contact with the left side of the car. And it was actually perfect. Totally fine. So I'm thinking toe is probably fine. We'll probably check it anyway. But I do want to get this thing on pads right now. Do caster camber, make sure that that's okay, and then we're just gonna stuff it in the trailer because it's hot. I can't stand it. You know, I got other stuff to do in my life. Yeah, even though we won the race last week and it did kind of remotivate me a little bit, at the same time, racing is still kind of a burden right now. It's still a little bit stressful. It's still busy. It's still time away from family. It's, you know, I'm at a very crucial point in my life where it's like, yeah, my kid's getting older. My wife and I ain't getting any younger either. I still got time to do stuff, and I'd like to do that. And I've been racing for 26 years, and, you know, I don't want to miss out on stuff. And I think that's a fair assessment. But you know what? We'll run the year out, which we committed to doing, and we'll reevaluate at the end of the year. But, you know, you never know what the future holds. So we'll get this thing put together, put it on the ground, caster camber toe in the box. We'll race tomorrow. Miracles have happened. The car is in the box and it's barely 5 o'clock. It's still 85 degrees and humid, but it's in the box. And if you live in a warmer climate like down south and you're used to the heat, good for you. We live in a climate up here in New England where it's cold for like 8 months out of the year. And by cold, I mean 60 and under. And then for 3 months, we get hammered with 85 to 90 degree weather, and we're not ready for that because that's just how we work. So anyway, I got to button up a few things. I got to take the tire stack down because it will fall over on the car. And I got to add another tire to the pile. We got to buy another one this week. And we're pretty much ready other than strapping the car down. I'm taking one last poke through here just to make sure we got everything like usual. I think I missed my scraper. Hopefully I won't need that, but I'll bring it with me just in case. You never know. And like I said, it's hot. We all got to just kind of take care of each other out there. We're going to be hot and miserable. And tomorrow we're coming off a win, but at the same time, I've been here before, you know. A win one week ain't a win the next week. You're starting somewhere further back, and it's going to be a lot harder, especially up here because we have handicap systems up here and a lot of places don't. A lot of places qualify and start heads up. We have a handicap system, so if you do well, you start further back. So, and it's not just if you're a rookie up here. It's we have a handicap system where if you do well for 3 weeks, you start in the back. So like I said, the hard work starts, and thankfully I got it done before nighttime. And if I'm working out here too long, it stresses me out, and I don't want to do that. I want racing to be fun. I want it to not be the horrific grind that it can be, and frankly has been a little bit. So I want to just kind of chill out. I want to just do this for fun. I want to have a good time like everybody else. And my whole goal is to go out there and come back the same way I went out. And I want everybody else to as well. I will see you guys tomorrow for another hot and humid day. Okay, after an exceedingly long ride for no good reason other than just being stuck behind people, I have entered Stafford Springs town limits. I tried putting air conditioning back in my truck. It seems to be working. It won't last long, but we're here. Our plan for tonight, well, no different than any other night. we're just gonna go out there and do our best and try to bring her home with a decent finish and in one piece. And that's the plan every week. Just go out there and do our best. Every week's a new week. Doesn't matter if you win, doesn't matter if you finish last. Just do your best. All right, I'm getting ready to go back out for the heat race here pretty quick, so I gotta hurry up. But practice, we weren't bad. First practice, it was a little tight, so we loosened it up a hair. I made a little bit of another adjustment, and I actually went out for the second round. I usually never do, but we went out again. I figured seat time couldn't hurt, especially on older tires. And we were 2/10 faster with those adjustments and a little more heat in the tires. And so we're gonna go out for the heat race, keep her on the bottom, and hope for the best. So that's usually what our case is. Heat race update. I don't know what the hell happened there, but the car was just swapping ends on entry. Wasn't doing that in practice. Went out for 2 practices, fine. Went out for the heat race, car swapping ends. I'm like, I don't know, weird. Luckily, I don't know, maybe it was cold tires, maybe it was some other thing. I don't really know. I don't know if I really want to make any adjustments right now, because it felt like it was getting a little better as the tires got hotter. So do we mess with it? I don't want to tighten the car up. It was already tight. So we'll think about it, but I don't know where we're going to start the feature, but it's going to be a fight. that lane, I'm good there. Remember what I said earlier in the video about racing as a way of humbling you? I don't think it needed that, because we were already pretty humble going in. I always said, you know, now the hard work begins, and you know, this week's a new week and I'm not going to do whatever. And then we go out and have a bad night. Car felt really, really lazy. I don't know what it is. It felt like I had a cylinder down or something, because it was really just, I guess the best word is lazy. I can't come up with anything else right now. It's just, it didn't go. It didn't have that kick on restarts. It just wasn't there. And as for handling, I mean, I could do some stuff, but like if I don't have the power to do anything with the runs that I get, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I think we've already pretty well proved ourselves so far this year with some of the runs that we put together. I mean, first race we started 15th and ran through the field to finish 5th. Second race we were doing the same thing, cut a tire. Third race started 12th, you know, we were up to 5th, and then did we finish 5th, or was that the time we finished 10th? Oh no, I think that was the time we actually finished 5th again. And then fourth race we started, I don't know, I think we started more towards the front, like 5th, and then we were just kind of hovering around because the car wasn't great, and got damaged and fell back to 10th. Towed it in really bad. Then I don't remember, the next race we started further forward and we passed the cars necessary, and we were fast enough to win the race, right? Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of luck that went into that, but we were also really good, and we kind of had to be. We ran away and nobody could come near us. So this race, you know, we had a good opportunity. I mean, we were starting 9th. That's not the furthest back we started, but we should have been able to move forward, and we weren't. And I'm going to go through the whole engine area and see if there's something wrong, because clearly we're down on power, and I got to figure out why. And so we'll start with, I'm going to pull all the spark plugs out. Then we're going to pull the valve covers off. I'm going to do a compression test, and then I'm going to check the valve lash. I might even go as far, because spinning it over to do the compression test will likely pump some oil pressure up in it. I might as well relash the valves just to check them. A little bit of safety. Then we're going to pull the spark plug wires, and I got these like protective little boots here. You know, they're like a fiberglass heat thing. Honestly, I don't even know if they work, because I've actually seen plug wire boots melt through even with those things on them. So I'm going to check all the boots, make sure they're not melted or cracked. And I also got a fresh set of spark plugs, because this thing kind of runs like it's got foul plugs. And this carburetor is going to get gone through as well. We're going to spray it down. We're going to clean all the orifices out and make sure it's all good. Might even do a little bit of tuning. So as of right now, that's kind of the plan. I don't know if I could really do anything with the setup, because to be fair, it was, if it's down on power, how do you know what the setup really is? It was good in practice. Like, we were decently quick. However, when I bolted these tires on, which I had practice tires on for practice, which are kind of old and used up, these were the tires I had on when I won the race last week. All I did was shave them and wrap them. Put them on, and the car was completely different. So I'm wondering if my tire prep methods are not good for these specific types of tires. So Maybe I should just wrap them when they come off the track and just leave it like that. Maybe that would be a better idea. So we might have to get into the habit of doing that. So that's the plan. I don't have a heck of a lot of time to work on it today because I got to get this video done and out to you guys. But that's what we're going to be doing. Plugs are changed. I noticed number 8 was actually wet, so that's kind of interesting. Went through all the plug wires, didn't see any bad boots or anything cracked or anything melted. Looking around, I tie them all back so that they can't get into anything. I'll get my old crank trigger out of here. I'll pick that up in a minute. So I couldn't find a heck of a lot wrong. However, I did realize while looking in here, and I noticed this. That's fresh, and it's all the way down. I have zoom. Look at water. That's water. And my buddy Adam was helping me crew last night, and he was running tape measures and doing tire pressures, which I appreciate greatly. But he put his arm up under here, and he's like, huh, why is my arm wet? So I'm thinking, because I've been oh, I just noticed this now. Look at this. There's rust. That is rust. Like, there is rust down the side of the car. Like, look at this. That's interesting. I was having that pressure issue with the engine, and I put this lighter cap on. It's like a Stant, 22 to 24. I was running like a 31 to 33 or a 27, 29. I put a lighter cap on it, and now, how much water's left in the thing? I'm gonna have to go get the water jug out and refill it because before, yeah, it was kind of burping a little bit out because it had a lot of pressure, but now it's like, well, now we got too much pressure and it's overcoming the cap and it's just pouring out down the side of the car. So now I bet you when the engine got warmed up in the heat race, I bet you it was pouring out the overflow and right down the side of the car and onto the right rear tire. So we'll fix that by putting that cap back on because it wasn't doing it with that cap. It was just kind of coming out a little bit and then kind of stabilizing, but it was also soaking the gasket, but we'll just cap it when we're done. So I got this. We're gonna have to add this to the car. I got a puke tank. We're gonna need to add this and drain it every week, but this should stop us from getting water down on the right rear. I don't know why I overlooked this. This was on my other car. We're gonna have to add that to the list, but we can't have that no more. That might have been the problem. I have a gallon of distilled water. Let's see how much it takes. By the way, compression test came out great. Every single cylinder was within 5 pounds of each other. So, engine bill of health looked fine. After pumping the lifters up, I kind of spun the motor over and moved all the rockers. They felt fine. I looked at the springs, I looked at it traveling, looked fine. So, I gave it a clean bill of health. I didn't touch the rockers. We're gonna fill it up with water though and see how much it takes. I removed the label so you guys could see it. You knew it was up here before. That's over half a gallon. And now it's actually full, which if I squeeze it, it could burp a little bit out, but I'm sure it will force some out because it kind of has to get a correct level, but yeah, we're not using that cap no more, and we're definitely gonna put the puke tank in. Well, you live and you learn, and then you relearn because you forgot the stuff you learned. And that's kind of the phase we're in right now. So that's That sucks, but it is what it is. Hopefully we learned from our lessons and we actually can move forward now. I'm gonna clean this thing up and put it in at some point, but I gotta end this video off now. It's just, I gotta get it out to you guys. It was disappointing, but that's racing. It is what it is. I think it's just, I don't know. I can't really explain it, but sometimes stuff just happens. I'm looking at my carburetor. I could use a cleaning. Like I said, it ran fine the race we won. Then we go out there and it runs like garbage and we didn't do anything to it. So typical. So unbelievably typical. But anyway, we'll get back to work on it in the next video and hopefully we'll have a little bit better result next week, even though it's going to be incredibly hot. Like it's supposed to hit nearly 100 degrees here for a couple days. Thankfully, it's going to break before we go racing, but thank you guys again for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. It does help me a ton. You don't have to pay no money for nothing. Helps with the algorithm in Google, who owns YouTube. And I got to tell you, it helps a lot. So tell your friends, tell your family if you think that they would enjoy something like this. And especially this level of humbling, I guess is the word you can use for this week. So we'll keep plugging away at it. Till next time.